use the stool for me to stand on. Hi everyone, my name is Mel Murphy. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how enhanced rock weathering is moving very rapidly from academic field scale trials into real-world commercial deployments. And over the last couple of years, we've seen the very first verified enhanced rock weathering credits. And in the last couple of years, we've seen over 20,000 tonnes of verified credits verified. We've even seen year 2 credits recently verified. This has happened over 2 different registries. There are 3 methodologies currently. However, we still don't have consensus around what this MRV is. And as Chris has just highlighted, this is critical for integration of enhanced rock weathering into the CRCF and into the broader energy trading scheme. So the central challenge here for MRV for enhanced rock weathering is indeed the measurement, which is critical. And this is for most people in this room. We understand this because we know that enhanced rock weathering operates in a complex open system where the application of the rock on an agricultural field is not necessarily where the carbon dioxide removal is happening, and we're seeing decoupling in the processes of where dissolution and removal are happening. And this happens over different timescales and spatial heterogeneity. This can happen over days, weeks, decades. And so this poses a very difficult challenge for measuring and quantifying carbon dioxide removal. And currently, no single measurement actually captures the entire CDR pathway. The central MRV challenge is now to find a trade-off between the scientific and academic rigor and operating at scale. And high resolution and site-specific measurements we know are very precise, but they're also very expensive and they don't scale. And so what we need now are to have confidence in other technologies or other measurement approaches so that we know that we can scale this technology responsibly. We do see healthy skepticism and scientific scrutiny within the field, and I think this is important for us to build the scientific platform upon which we are building this community. This is very important at this early stage. We see scrutiny from academics, from not-for-profits, from carbon watchdog organisations around some of the early issuances, around the validity of the credits, some of the assumptions that these credits were made upon, and also the lack of open access to the data for independent researchers to scrutinise the validity of these credits. And so I really urge the community towards more open and transparency. This is critical to have the trust that we're not in fact greenwashing. The future of MRV at scale, it's an interesting thought, slightly terrifying. The real question is, how do we develop scientifically robust MRV that is operationally viable, that scales as the science evolves? And we're seeing interest in models, in the use of remote sensing-based techniques, machine learning approaches. However, we need to make sure that the models are only as good as the data they're calibrated on. And this is where there is a real need within the community for the kinds of large data sets that are being generated here within the Carbon Drawdown Initiative's greenhouse, but also the initiatives of Cascade with the Bedrock Initiative to have large integrated networks looking at different soils, different feedstocks, different climates, different cropping systems. We need to really generate these data sets in order to be able to calibrate and validate our models. And this is where I would like to say that as a community, we have a broad responsibility to ensure that MRV is being done so that it is scientifically rigorous as we scale. And I feel like that's a really good place for us to hand over to Jens to tell us a little bit more about the initiatives happening here in the greenhouse.